so I think the real lesson for us today is the one that Jesus gives us, that he is risen, and he wants the same of us. Not necessarily in the sense of rising from the dead, but rising from where we were once before. You know, Father Wayne, my assistant here at the parish, he talks about the resurrection and he talks about Easter and the glory that comes with it. But he also put out an Easter basket last night. And it was big. It was more like an Easter barrel that he put out there. And so in any case, the Easter bunny did eventually come. It's about 2 in the morning, about the same time Father Chooks gets up to get some tea at night. And the two of them ran into each other and they both almost had heart attacks at that time. But Father Chooks looked at the Easter bunny and he looked at Father Chooks and Father Chooks said, and so they sat down and began to talk. Now I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I was eavesdropping on this conversation. And the Easter bunny let out this sigh. And he said, you know, it used to be so much easier. It really did. The generation that you call the greatest generation, I remember times visiting their home, and I would give them a colored egg with some bread wrapped around it, and maybe an orange. And it was as though I had given them gold. It was such a meager gift to offer someone, and yet they embraced it because they knew what struggle was, and they embraced that gift. And they devoured it. And then they went and they worshipped the God who would provide such things. Well, as people became more and more prosperous, the demands on me became more and more as well. That people were no longer satisfied with the egg wrapped up in a piece of bread or an orange. Now they wanted candy. And he sat there for a while and he paused. And he said, I would not give in to their wishes. Because the egg was the symbol of resurrection. In fact, if you look at the ancient icons of Mary Magdalene, you'll see Mary Magdalene holding an egg. It represents new life and the possibility of salvation. And so he did not want to relent, but he said, finally, I gave in. I thought, fine, I'll give him the egg with the bread, I'll give him some colored eggs, I might give him an orange so it's healthy, and then I will let them rot their teeth away on this candy that I will supply for them. And sadness filled his face because he reflected and he said, they devoured all the candy, and they were not sated. They wanted more. That the next day the candy was gone, and they wanted more. Whereas back when I gave them very little, they were so happy. And they went and they worshipped and they were grateful. But now it was gone in a moment. And it had no more satisfied the hunger in their hearts than anything else I could offer. Well, as years progressed and people were more prosperous, candy was not enough. So now the demand came my way to give them iPads and electronics and bikes and toys. It became a second Christmas. And I thought, no, I will not relent on this. I've given you the candy, the eggs, that's it. I can do no more. But their outcry was so great that I finally did give in. I offered them the colored eggs, but the colored eggs had long gone into the refrigerator. Sometimes for years and years they remained, until finally one day a person industrious enough to make egg salad would come along, or mix it with something else they could do. That even the candy was quickly consumed, but I noticed also with these gifts that the novelty of the gift ran out in a few days. And they were left right back where they were at the beginning. And so he looked over at Father Chooks, who had long fallen asleep by now. And he started, and he looked, And he said, well, what will you do now? And the Easter Bunny said, I have a few more stops to make, and then I will find a church and sneak into Mass, so that I too can offer thanks to the gift of my very life, from the only one who could have given it to me. I think when Jesus wants us to rise, he wants us to rise from mediocrity, for accepting just the minimum that I can do, the minimum that I can give. Now, we look at these apostles sometimes and we see them as saints. Well, they weren't always saints. They weren't saints until they died. And so I believe that Peter and many of these fishermen, they were hard workers, but they may not have made it to the temple or the synagogue all the time. That they were hard workers, and they probably would have taken the Sabbath just because the persecution among family and friends would have been so great they would have had to. But once they encountered Jesus, everything changed. Everything. They could no longer go back to their old ways. If it was something as minor for these fishermen as swearing, that it began to stop. It began to go away because Jesus will not accept mediocrity. He said this so clearly, either be hot or cold, but if you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit it out. He does not want that. And so as these apostles journeyed with Jesus, and they were not always perfect, not nearly, but they continued to strive for more than the basic level of devotion. They continued to strive to give their absolute best. That it wasn't about the trophies, it wasn't about the miracles anymore. It was about the person. And that's what they pursued. So much so that all of them would eventually go to their death for this person. They would rise far above mediocrity to set the standard of what it means for us to be a saint. And so the message of Jesus is simple today. But acting on that message is very challenging. He wants us to rise as he is risen. To rise from the mediocrity and the malaise into resurrection and the possibility of rebirth.